What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 91 of Smack Talk here at smarkoutmoment.com and blogtalkradio.com/megapowersradio. You will be hearing this on youtube.com/smarkoutmoment, which I usually say second later on, but this right now is the special live edition of Smack Talk. This is the summer block party. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of nonsense. There's not really as much of a structure to this show as there usually is because I wanted to keep it as free as possible. We are going to do the Ask Him. We are going to do the hot tags. We are going to mention some plugs for all of our stuff at the end of the show. We're going to do the Bleacher Report card. We're going to talk about all the kind of crap that we usually do, but there's also going to be that section where we just take your calls. We talk about whatever's going on in our minds. We're talking about Tito Ortiz and running that crap down. All of the stuff that's happened this week. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango. With me right now, we have Drew White.
Hola, senors.
Chris Jester.
Hey.
Sean Walker.
I'm joined by Skype on my phone, bitches.
Miguel Leon.
Tired, but here.
Michael Burhan.
Yo, that's Michael Burhan, the hardest working man in podcast history.
And Braden Mayhew.
He's actually right about that. I think he's the Iron Man of podcasts these days, Burhan is. Really.
Iron Man of Mega Powers Radio, yeah.
Howdy to every wrestling fan that's watching this right now, and even those who are going to be watching on YouTube. I say hi to them as well.
He's the Daniel Bryan of Gauntlet Match podcasting.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to put him through a table by the end of this episode.
Aw, yeah.
Well, it's fine. Vince has no faith in you, so that's all right.
Hey, that was never confirmed. But I am hungry, so you never know.
Feed me more.
Feed me a whole lot. I didn't have enough pasta this morning. Alright. As always, everybody, we have the Ask Him, and we're going to talk about who got it right last week before we go into all that other kind of stuff. So, who got it right last week, Burhan?
Okay, basically the whole Ask Hims, as you know, it's going to be a bit different today, but the Ask Hims follow the premise of we ask the host something, and then I ask you guys the second question. Now, the host answers the question of who was the manager behind the Blade Runner, well, who was managing, like, the Blade Runners. It was Zebekiah, of course. And then next, they found out who the individual was that he was managing beforehand. Now, the only person who seems to have got this right literally went ballistic on this was Thomas Sander. Thomas Sander, I have to give you extreme props to the fact that, one, you've answered every question I had about you, including that cool pic that you have on there, and two, the fact that you were talking about the fact that Zeb Coulter is a.k.a. Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. Uncle Zebekiah, a.k.a. Wayne Morris Keon. Uncle Zeb was the manager of the Blue Brothers, Justin Hawk Bradshaw, a.k.a. JBL, and also talked about the reason for your picture. I'm not going to go into it. Oh, I might as well. The reason for the picture is that you're a great Heart Foundation fan in the late 80s, 90s, etc., etc., so you have the epic Neidhart beard, and you know what? I think the one thing I have in common with you is I like the Neidhart as well, especially with the fact that he actually, produced a lovely daughter like Natalia, who I want to procreate with. So, now, as we go on to that, let's go on to the next question, because, actually, let me give out a few more, including Watchman King 67, of course, who got the answer correct as well. And I don't see anybody else. If I do miss you out, I do apologize. We're doing a live show today, so I'm trying to run through this all quickly. Now, what I'm going to do today, though, is a bit different. I haven't actually talked to Tony about it quickly, but I'm going to do it as for the live show format. I'm going to do one question for the hosts, see if everyone can get stumped on this. Do a question for the callers, so it will lead on to a caller question, and then finally it will lead on to a final question, which I might do now, or I might leave it till later, who knows, depending on what Tony has or how packed his schedule is, for next week's show, so that we can actually forward it on. Okay, so we'll go first for the question that I have. On Keeping Kayfabe this week, we're looking at velocity, we're looking at two individuals who are wrestling, and also we were laughing at the fact that TNA had a very funny situation happen with their August 1st warning. Now, I want to basically ask every one of you guys, apart from Tony Mango, who would have been a better pick than Tito Ortiz, but shared his name and formerly worked in ECW. Anyone got a clue?
No.
IDK.
He went by the name Ortiz. He had an undefeated streak, and he worked in ECW.
Oh, that is definitely Goldberg. Oh yeah, that's what's up.
I hate you, Drew. Anyway.
Obviously Gilbert.
No, he went by the name Ortiz. He had a towel. He had literally an undefeated streak with such Jack Swagger.
Taz?
Where he had a match where it was streak versus streak, and it was ECW. He had a goofy gimmick, and then went to the Smackdown brand. Come on, guys.
Taz.
No, you call yourselves WWE ECW fans. Tony,
No, I don't.
can I help him out?
What's the issue that you have right now?
He went by the name Ortiz. He had an ECW undefeated.
You're asking me what I had said, right?
Yeah, I was up.
Nobody got that? Nobody knows the magical awesomeness of Ricky Ortiz?
Oh,
that
new ECW.
Yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, you got to be specific on that one.
I thought I was.
I don't get sci-fi.
Let's lead on to the second question, which I'll leave to a live caller. So if you guys want to call in, you can do on 760-512-7247, which is the Mega Powers Radio hotline, or you can click on the link for the Smark Out Moment live podcast and click on the Skype, and we can get you in. So, you know, telephone callers are standing by, people. It's just Tony on the switchboard, so that's all right. So the question I'm going to ask you guys that leads on from that one, from that very bad gimmick, who was the gentleman that he faced for a streak versus streak match on one of the latter episodes of ECW, and what tag team that gentleman currently reside in? And it's not for the hosts, this is for you guys out there to call in and give us the answer. And the person who has the right answer will get my constant praise, while the rest of these guys have to hold their heads down in shame.
And we have a caller right now from the 484 area code. 484, who are you?
Hello.
Where are you calling from? And what's going on?
My name's Dominic. I'm calling from Pennsylvania, and I just want to know, what was your entire take on the World Heavyweight Championship division right now in WWE?
All right, well, World Heavyweight Championship, in my mind, it's kind of messed up right now. I don't like the idea of Del Rio holding the title. I think they could have kept it on Dolph Ziggler despite that whole thing. We've talked about it a little bit before on Smack Talk when everybody was kind of doing that whole Ziggler lost it, but he'll gain it all back real fast, and it'll be great for him. A lot of people disagree with me on it. Some people on this panel. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll go first on that one. The World Heavyweight Championship division is needed, but the fact is, I agree with Tony. I think the wrong person's holding the title at this point in time. I think they never should have stopped Ziggler from recapturing the gold and gone into this pathetic feud with Biggie Langston and AJ Lee, because I don't even know where they're going with that one. We need two world champions at the moment. We need a world heavyweight champion to basically have that title and take some of the focus away from John Cena, who's going to be the guy trying to outstreak Punk, you know. And it probably would have worked a lot better if there was still a brand extension in place. And I'll pass it on to one of the other guys.
I'm okay with the way they decided to go about it. I think that having a long-term Ziggler chasing the belt and getting it back later would bring more attention to him actually getting the chase of getting the belt back. And I feel like he needed to finish off his business with Big E and AJ, because you can't break them off from him without having some kind of payoff where he has a match with Big E Langston. And once that's over with, then maybe he can concentrate on getting the belt back from Del Rio, probably before the Rumble. But I do agree with Burhan. I think that the two title thing would work a lot better if there was a legitimate brand extension in place, instead of this wishy-washy, everybody's on Raw, everybody's on SmackDown. Randy Orton's the WWE Championship Money in the Bank holder, and he's on SmackDown competing in world title #1 contender matches. The brand extension is so paper thin that it makes having two brands kind of pointless.
What do you think, Dominic?
Another thing I want to know is, Damien Sandow won the World Heavyweight Money in the Bank, and he's still kind of on a losing streak. They still haven't given him a big push, and, what they might do is put him in a match with Cody Rhodes for the Money in the Bank, and if Cody Rhodes wins the Money in the Bank, do you think he would be up for grabs for the world title?
Oh, I hope so.
I'm hoping that Cody Rhodes takes it from him, actually. I don't want to see Damian get that kind of main event push without the Intercontinental title. And I think Cody's made it good enough run in the mid-card that he kind of deserves that spot now. I think he should take that briefcase away from him, get a couple months to build up, and then Damian Sandow can kind of stay in the upper mid-card and win the U.S. title, the IC title, build back up to that on his own.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that sorry. Go ahead.
People are killing me here.
I was going to say I'm probably one of the few people who completely disagrees. I just don't see Cody Rhodes as a world champion. It's just something about him. I respect the guy. I know he has a great lineage. The guy's a solid worker. He's really carried himself from a gimmick standpoint, especially with that whole dashing gimmick, but just something about him just doesn't scream off world champion material. Maybe it's that Vince McMahon mentality, but I buy Damian Sandow as a champion more than I do Cody Rhodes. You know, I buy Damian Sandow as this heel character that can hold a belt more than I see Cody Rhodes. I think Cody really needs a big feud to really get him over, and Sandow's not it. And I would rather see Sandow with the belt. I think Sandow needs it too, but I think just from my mindset, I actually would just prefer Sandow with it. I like Sandow. I think his gimmick is old school and it works. I don't know. I think Cody's just too plain to me.
Well, here's the thing. Do you think that if Sandow would cash in the briefcase this Monday and win the World Heavyweight Champion, do you think he'd be a credible champion right off the bat?
No.
Not now.
So, like, how long do you think he'd have to hold on to that title for before, it'd be like a legitimate chance for him to actually be the World Heavyweight Champion and it actually like work?
An act of God.
I think you would need at least.
To be fair, does the briefcase even exist anymore? It was sunk in the Gulf of Mexico.
They're looking for it actively. The same people that were looking for the Titanic are looking for the briefcase. All right.
Okay.
The same people that were looking for Edge when John Cena threw him into the Long Island Sound.
But he didn't have it on Raw on Monday. That's something to notice. Maybe it did actually get lost at sea.
Well, Dominic, I have one thing that I want to ask you, other than if you have any other questions that you want to ask us. Are you a follower of Smark at Moment?
I'm subscribed to you on YouTube, but I don't usually go on your website.
Are you one of the regulars? Do we know that what's your username?
Well, I don't have a YouTube username.
Okay. Well, make sure that you send us some comments and all that. You got some good questions and all that. I really appreciate you being on.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other questions for us?
Well, before I go, I got one thing to say, and that I pray to God that SummerSlam, the Randy Orton does not catch it in the Money in the Bank, WWE Championship match.
I guarantee it.
He will.
I hope he does.
I hope he does too.
I could care less.
I think he has to. I don't see him not cashing in on Daniel Bryan. I think, because I was thinking about this last night. Here's why. I think they do want to turn Randy Orton heel. They do want to turn him heel. They do want to do that push. But the problem is that so many people have been clamoring for that heel turn. If he did it on anybody else, even guys that they consider top guys like Sheamus and Cena, I think the fans would react in a way they don't want, and they would probably end up cheering for it. You know, they'd be like, "Yeah, we love this. We love this Randy Orton heel turn." They need to turn him against somebody who the fans will cheer for over him no matter what. And the only guy I think of in that roster is Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title and then Randy Orton coming down immediately, kicking him in the head, cashing in, and winning the belt, that'll turn him heel no matter what, and that's what they need. If they really want to commit to Randy Orton as a heel, they got to do it against Bryan.
All right, we're going to move on. We got a couple other callers that have been waiting for quite a while, so thank you again, Dominic, for calling in.
All right, see ya.
All right, we're going to move on to CVAD81. CVAD, what's going on?
Hey there, Bobby. I was listening to your program here. Look, Lord Alfred has got me a little confused. He's doing a whole lot of talking, and with that damn Yankee accent, it was hard to make out what was happening there.
So glad Hank called in.
Well, you guys kindly invited me back the other day, so I figured I would. Calling from Arlen, Texas.
That's fantastic.
What's happening there, guys?
Why don't we have him stay on the line with us for a second while we get next?
You know what? That's actually what I was planning on doing. You beat me to it. We're going to go to the next person who is waiting here at the 915 area code. 915. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Johnny from El Paso. I was going to answer your question, but now I forgot what the question was. So.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome for that.
I appreciate that.
It just makes you think of propane.
All right, Burham, give a little recap.
And propane accessories.
Oh, sorry, Frank. Propane accessories. Yep. Basically, okay, we'll go for the question again. The question is, who did Ricky Ortiz face in a Street versus Street match on a later episode of ECW, and what tag team is that person currently in?
You got an answer for us?
Yeah, I know he faced Jack Swagger.
Correct. Do you know the tag team that Jack Swagger is currently in?
Greatest tag team in the world.
Ew.
That's Swagger and what's his name? The Real American.
Great.
There you go. We got the very first attempt at getting it gets the question right. Good job, Johnny.
Proud of you, boy.
You know who else? You know who else is a real American? Hulk Hogan.
Oh, please, God.
You have any questions
for the
for us,
rights
Johnny?
of every man.
You know whatever
Hulk
happened
Hogan
to
is a
Holster?
person
I've
who needs to
been wondering that for a couple of years now.
He went to TNA.
Where?
What?
Oh, yeah. Right.
He's in TNA. He's destroying TNA. That's what he's doing.
My son Bobby loves TNA. I got to keep the magazines out from under his bed all the time.
Guy, do you have any questions for us, Johnny?
No, but since y'all are asking questions, I had this one. I have a podcast, and this guy called in, and he asked me a question, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to y'all and see how smart y'all are also. He posed a question back in the late 80s. The Midnight Rockers won the AWA Tag Team titles. Who did they beat to win the Tag Team titles, and who did they drop them to?
I have no idea on this one.
Hang on. Let me think. The youngest one here.
I couldn't even keep up with the typing on that one, Bobby. You're going to have to slow it down a little bit.
Okay, the Midnight Rockers won the AWA Tag Team titles. Who did they beat to win the Tag Team titles, and then who did they drop them to?
Was it Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall that they beat?
No, it was...
No? Okay.
Was it Randy Ross and Dennis Condrey?
No, but you're close. You're probably one of the closest ones.
Bob Eaton and Stan Lane?
It was Pretty Boy Doug Summers and Playboy Buddy Rose.
I never would have gotten that right.
Yeah,
Playboy. That's the magazines. Playboy. That rang a bell.
What's your podcast, Johnny?
It's North American Wrestling.
Oh, North American Wrestling.
NAWO
Okay.
Wrestling. Yeah, it's NAWO Wrestling. We have it on Wednesdays at 6 Mountain. So I have a local organization here that we talk about, and then we talk about stuff in TNA and WWE, but mainly just the independent scene around the area here.
Awesome, man. So anybody wants to check that out, they can go ahead. And anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, that's it, man. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you calling in. All right.
All right, yeah.
Stay on the line there, Johnny. We'll get you some Johnny's charcoal broiler.
All right, guys. As mentioned before, if you want to call in, 760-512-7247 is the number that you should call, or you can try to join in via Skype. We're going to keep everything going along here. We have the Ask Him done already, but you know what? What the hell? Let's do another one. Burhan, you have any other Ask Him questions that you can send out for everybody?
I do.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I've got loads. I've got tons.
Well, here we go. Buckle up, fellas.
I love Hank. Okay.
Lord Alfred, he's about to go on a spill here. Here we go, boys.
Well, to go with Braindead Hicks, let's go with another set of family who was basically similar to the Wyatt family. Give me their names. And
the Guerreros.
and who they were managed by. So, again, they're
Vicky.
similar to the Wyatt family. They give you their names and who they were managed by. They were a tag team, guys. So there you go. There's another Ask Him for you. Remember to call in 760-512-7247, and you can also press the Skype button as you're listening to this podcast live. Just make sure you mute the podcast before you do it.
And in the meantime, we're going to start talking about some of the hot tags of the week. And the first thing that I want to talk about is not the main one that everybody wants to get into. I'm going to start running along some of the little ones. WWE Battleground is going to replace the Over the Limit pay-per-view. And thank God, because I hated the idea of Over the Limit. I thought it was such a stupid name. What do you guys think?
I thought it was an okay name. I mean, is there a gimmick going along with Battlegrounds? Because it sounds like it'd be a gimmick pay-per-view.
I hope not. I don't know. I didn't get that vibe.
It's going to take place in Afghanistan.
Well, no, it sounds like oh shoot, what the hell? Bragging rights. Yeah, it sounds like bragging rights, but that with no brand split anymore, then you throw that out the window. It can't be something along those lines.
I can't stand any of the gimmick-themed pay-per-views. I'm so glad that they have like generically named, even though this is like a bad it's not bad, but it's just like a very like vanilla name. Like I liked the ones like Judgment Day and Backlash. Those were good, but like I am much happier with non-themed pay-per-views. Is like the idea of having every month to be a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank or Elimination Chamber, or like you specifically have specific gimmick matches take place at these pay-per-views, waters down the gimmick matches so much.
I agree 100%. I hate even TLC and Hell in a Cell. I wish that they would get rid of both of them.
Hell in a Cell.
Agree.
Having 2 or 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one pay-per-view just kills everything intense about the Hell in a Cell. It's better when you can have the general manager just randomly announce a Hell in a Cell match just for those like specific long big rivalries. It makes it mean more. But when when the Hell in a Cell matches are going to happen every year, it makes you care a lot less.
Yeah, it makes it lose its luster because you expect it. You know it's going to be happening. There's no suspense factor to it. You know it happens once a year.
Mm-hmm. And guess what? The best part is that, if they're going by last year's Hell in a Cell, there's only going to be one Hell in a Cell match, which there's no fucking point at that point to call it Hell in a Cell.
This just has to show that Battleground cannot be a gimmick pay-per-view, because wouldn't that be, I know it's the month of Halloween, but double the gimmick pay-per-view in 1 month, that's got to be overkill. I don't think they've done that yet.
What was the main event of Over the Limit last year?
Cena versus Big Johnny in an instant classic.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Best match of the year.
Oh, God, it was brilliant, yes.
You guys want to know? Here's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see if Johnny B. Bad can defeat Diamond Dallas Page at Spring Stampede this year.
Hank, I was going to ask you a question. When have you ever been over the limit?
Oh, what?
When have you ever been over the limit? Is it like once, twice, when you pulled over for driving?
I am over the limit right
now. No. I'm never over the limit.
Oh my God. We were talking about Battleground possibly being any kind of like a gimmick pay-per-view. If it is, what would you guys like to see? I don't necessarily think that there is any kind of a thing other than the Scramble that I would like to see.
That's not a bad idea. It's better than anything else that anyone else here is going to say, so let's see.
Well, they're never going to do War Games, so I kind of can't say that.
No, they can't do that around Survivor Series.
That would be amazing.
And on top of that,
good War Games again. Hey, I'll tell you, the greatest gimmick pay-per-view ever created was Bunkhouse Stampede in January of '98.
That's so true. What about the Hog Pen match?
That was, that's classic WCW there, Bobby.
I still prefer the King of the Road match.
King of the Road. Yeah, Dusty Rhodes defeated Arn Anderson, the Barbarian, Tully Blanchard, Ivan Koloff, Lex Luger, Road Warrior Animal, and the Warlord. That's almost like Lord Alfred over there.
You're an enigma of yourself, Hank.
What?
He's complimenting you, Hank.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that was the one there where Larry Zbyszko, the living legend, defeated Barry Windham in a UWF Western States Championship match. Now, y'all talk about that for about 20 minutes.
That'll happen. Actually, we should move on to another hot tag here. Maxine won the poll of which diva should return to WWE. Are you fucking kidding me?
That was rigged.
It had to have been. It had to have been one of the situations where people went, look, Maxine's on this. Wouldn't it be funny if we all voted for her?
I have no idea who she is.
What were the other choices?
They had Trish, they had Lita, Kelly, Sunny I think was on there. Not that she would be participating or anything.
It's a sign, dude.
What about
It's a sign.
What about who?
Did you mean Alundra Blaze?
Did they have?
Yeah,
Medusa
Alundra Blaze
there?
Medusa.
Yeah.
That would have worked a lot well. She could have came in, got the Divas Championship, threw it in a trash can.
I'm guessing they want to bring her back so they can put her on that Total Divas show. I mean, they probably are going to. They just need a reason to do it, so they probably put up this rigged list thing, and then they're probably just going to end up bringing her onto that show and then bringing her back there and like, oh, okay, the fans wanted it, so here we are.
Alrighty then.
Nobody else has any other thoughts about Maxine?
Boo.
Maxine, her last name is Pad, right? Maxine Pad.
No, that's if she went over to. That's if she went over to TNA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, Bobby loves
The poll
TNA.
speaks for itself.
Move on. Let's
That's what
do
she
another
said.
one. Let's talk about a little Cape Town, South Africa. Randy Orton attacked by a fan in the middle of his... Actually, no, it wasn't in the middle of his match. It was at the end of his match. He goes onto the ropes to do his pose. This guy runs into the ring, low blows Randy Orton, gets arrested, gets a nice boot in the face for it, for all his efforts from Randy Orton. And apparently Randy Orton suffered a groin injury in the process, and it might be... considering legal action against the guy, who apparently this guy is an aspiring wrestler, and he cut this big promo afterward at I think the police station because he did get arrested.
It's the
where
word.
he was talking
Come
about
on.
how
Dude, this is professional wrestling going real, man. This is.
It's a word.
He's trying to drop a CM Punk pipe bomb, man.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a caller right now, Mike Davidson. Mike, what's going on?
Hey guys, I just wanted to call in, just offer a bit of an opinion from over the pond. I'm actually an aspiring wrestler myself.
You're not the one that hit Randy Orton, were you?
If I hit Randy Orton, I think I'd be in hospital, man. He'd break me like a twig.
That's no attitude to have going into a wrestling career, son.
That's true, but I can admit when I'm about to be beaten, especially by Randy. I wouldn't mess with him. But
what would you train at, mate?
I train at a small school inside London at the moment. I'm trying to get my career off the road. But I've been keeping my eye out for the moment, to be honest.
The best places to usually contact, I think it's LDN is one of the biggest ones in there at the moment. There's a place in Essex, I believe, in Purfleet. There's also, I don't know if they've still reintroduced it, but the FWA is active again in Morecambe. So if you could have a word with some of them, they've got some great trainers. Nice shout out to Alex Shane and the bunch there. So
cheers, man.
You've got loads of options.
Cheers, man. I'll definitely... What did you say it was in? Essex and...
Morecambe. That's sort of like the outside...
Morecambe.
Yeah, it's like the outside of London. They usually do shows in the Morecambe Dome. And that's the Frontier Wrestling Alliance. But I know they always look in talent. They funded guys like Rockstar Spud, for instance.
Damn. You got any questions or anything for us, Mike?
I was just wondering, what did you think? Did you think this whole? I was actually going to ask you about the whole prison event where he came on, he attacked Randy. Do you think that he set it up for that? So do you think he would get? He knew he'd get a lot of publicity by and was hoping to start his career by doing it?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did that specifically for that reason. A lot of people think that they can do that kind of stuff and get away with it, but this guy just killed his wrestling career in my mind. Nobody's going to trust him anymore because he did something that is one of the few totally banned things out there. I don't think that anybody would trust him anymore.
Plus the fact that you're low-bowing Randy Orton, and he's got a face for radio.
Nah, dude. I'd put 100% of my trust in this guy. I want his trust in my mouth. Damn it.
Him versus you in a bounce house.
Controversy creates.
Dude, listen, he can wrestle, and with my Bounce House Wrestling Association that I'm starting up, so it's all good.
God, I'm in. No.
What I'm going to do, because we have the switchboard is lighting up and all that other kind of stuff. Real quick, Mike, is there any other questions that you want us to kind of address later on in the show?
No. If you could just mute me so I could listen into the show on my phone, that'd be brilliant.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for calling in, Mike.